Hi, my name is Chantal Bacall. I am the founder of Books Over Brunch. As you can see right here in my fun shirt, Books Over Brunch is a book club that was founded firstly to make sure that we hold ourselves accountable for our reading. Now, when we have adulting, we have our jobs, we have our families, we have our love lives, we have extracurricular activities. So, we just wanted to make sure, I wanted to make sure that there was an environment where we can hold each other accountable to read books, but then to also make sure that we can have healthy dialogue and discuss different perspectives, because you might have one perspective on a book, but there's so many different ways to read into things because we're all different and we all have different experiences that have shaped us. So to have that is really, really amazing. And who doesn't want to have discussion over brunch? Like, who doesn't like a mimosa or a Bellini? Hello. What I'm doing today is something I actually plan on incorporating for future meetups, but right now it'll be like a post meetup rundown of how our read was and the discussion that took place. So the book that we read, as you may be able to tell in the background, was We're Going to Need More Wine by Gabrielle Union, and it was an amazing, have I said amazing enough? It was an amazing read. So today, for our little discussion, we have some white wine. Now, I know Gabby would be shaking her head at me because I know she loves red wine, but your girl loves white, so we're going to Pinot Grigio it up today. Okay. Before I get into detail, I want to say that the most amazing thing about this book was that as a woman and as a Black woman, we could relate to so many of the experiences that Gabrielle went through. So I found that to be a very beautiful thing, because I think sometimes we glorify celebrities, and to an extent, they are amazing and they have achieved a lot, but they did come from somewhere. So I thought that was very important. And speaking of coming from somewhere, in the beginning of the book, Gabrielle really talks about her childhood. And what was very interesting about her childhood was that she moved from Omaha, Nebraska to Pleasanton, California, and she experienced a lot of racism at an early age. And when she was young, it seemed like she really wanted to please her white classmates. So she even mentioned doing things that were a little bit minstrelsy to kind of, appease them and make her like them more, or make them like her more, I should say. And it kind of was eating away at her, but I feel like her summers in Omaha are what really shaped who she ended up becoming and actually helped her step more into her Blackness. And one of the great things that she says in the read is, white people don't know what to do when you're not trying to assimilate. And that was one of the most powerful things that she said. But I definitely thinking having the duality of both, majority of her time spent in Pleasanton as well as her summers spent in Omaha, I think that they really helped her become the woman that she is today. And I think that those is a very important thing. So now to get into some nitty gritty topics, because we're not going to get into every single topic. I definitely think that everybody should read this book, especially every Black woman, because it is that amazing. So Gabrielle Union, she lost her virginity at a very young age. And she was talking about, even as she got older, just sexual liberation. And what we discussed as a book club was sexual liberation versus, this idea that someone is a thought or a hoe. And honestly, when it comes to sexual liberation, do you, whatever you feel. So if you feel like, okay, this is a special moment that it should be just shared with someone to have an emotional connection with, absolutely do that. But also, if you are a woman who is sexually liberated and you do want to express your sexuality, you can do that also. I think it's about preference. I think it's about whatever you feel you want to do, and you should not be judged for it. I think just own that. I feel like sometimes there are wires crossed and some women say, oh, I'm sexually liberated, but then when there isn't an emotional connection with the man that they're dealing with, they often are disappointed. But it's like, if you are going to say you're sexually liberated, you own that and you understand what comes along with that. Haven't even drunk any of my wine yet, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay. So Gabrielle discusses her first marriage when reading the book, and she discussed how she felt apprehensive from the moment, she got engaged, but she kind of wanted to save face. And if you look back in the book, you'll see that her mother went through infidelity in her marriage, and I think Gabby didn't know when to leave. Like, her mom was also very comfortable, so Gabby got used to this idea of saving face. So something that we discussed in the book club was, why do a lot of us stay in situations that we shouldn't stay in? Because we want to save face. I think that a lot of times we want to prove people wrong, right? Because our friends may tell us, like, no, he's wrong for you. Family be like, I don't think that this is a right idea. Your gut may be telling you, like, no, something's off, sis. But, we stay in these situations, we're like, no, we can make it work. And then sometimes you fall for potential. You fall for the potential with this man or this woman, and you want to make it work. But I think eventually she knew when it was time to go, and she left that relationship, and, she's in a loving relationship right now. So that's beautiful. Gabby discussed whoever has the bigger pocket is the one who makes the final decision. And let me tell you, at our brunch table, wait, let me sip a little bougily right now. That was shaking the table, honey. So there were a couple of things. It was two things. So it was first that we felt like it should still be an equal decision no matter who makes the most amount of money. But it was very interesting that Gabrielle felt that way. I mean, it's very similar to, I think, her parents' marriage. But then also, when you think about it, a lot of us who are, like, in my book club especially, are still young. But when you think about it, if someone is spending the money, yes, you want to give your input. You don't want to feel like your input isn't valued. But if it is their money at the end of the day, I feel like you kind of would ease off and let them make that decision realistically. Another thing that shook the table was prenups. So there's so many things that was discussed in this book, like, legit, like, so many things. But the idea of signing a prenup, because, Gabrielle and Dwayne, they had a prenuptial agreement. So we were very split, but a lot of us felt like a prenuptial agreement is very important, especially if you want to protect your assets. You never know where a relationship is gonna go, so you want to make sure, regardless of money, that's not the bigger thing, because you just never know. People are constantly growing and changing. You don't know what's going to happen in your relationship. I think it's security in case something does happen. You discuss it way in the beginning. I think it should be discussed even before you get engaged, to know, all right, well, in the case of blah blah blah, this is how we feel. And I think it's very important to have that dialogue. On the other hand, some people do feel like that is kind of setting a negative tone in your marriage. It's like, oh, well, you think we're going to fail. And it's like, no, not necessarily. But the truth is, people do get divorced. The truth is, people do change. The truth is, life changes. So I think prenuptial agreements are great. So overall, we would rate the book about an A minus. And that's nothing against Gabby. The book was amazing. I laughed, literally, on the subway. I cried. It was a great read. I felt like I was talking to my girlfriend about her life, which I thought was a great, great, great aspect of the book. The only thing is the book was extremely open, and Gabby did not discuss, the infidelity with Dwayne Wade. Now, anybody could still be, it doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or not, you're not entitled to tell anybody about anything. She's still in that relationship, so she can definitely keep that private. Also, she could still be healing from it, and there's just no reason to actually speculate on it. She didn't actually discuss it at all, and I get it. It is a very, very private thing, and she's not entitled to. I just think, and we as a group felt that, even though it was a very open book, that part was closed off. So it was kind of like disjointed a little bit. But overall, like, it was a phenomenal book. I would recommend it to everyone, especially Black women. Should definitely read it. Don't be like me and have white wine, have your red wine. Or if you're over brunch, have like a mimosa like we did yesterday. But it was absolutely amazing. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this little girl talk that I sat here with you and had. And we're going to have more things like that in the future.